Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Checkered Flag Corner. We have some great news regarding iRacing's NASCAR 25. Why is this camera doing this? Forgive me. So, in the past, a little background. NASCAR games have always been in kind of a weird world of their own. See, in the late 90s into the early 2000s, there were multiple companies making NASCAR games all at the same time, which resulted in entire tracks being omitted, entire drivers and teams and sponsors being omitted. We had Papyrus making games like NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Racing, NASCAR Legends, NR 2003. We had the original NASCAR Heat Series, NASCAR Heat 2002, and those same developers would make NASCAR Dirt to Daytona. And then in the early 2000s, in 2001, EA finally got the exclusive gaming rights to make NASCAR games, which means that they were the only company that could make them. So we would get the NASCAR Thunder Series to start off with. Now, they had made a few NASCAR games in the past, but now they are the only company that can make them. And EA brought us bangers like NASCAR Thunder 2004, NASCAR 2005 Chase for the Cup, NASCAR 2006 Total Team Control. And those are three of my favorite NASCAR games. That's why I use those examples. And then later on, we would get the new NASCAR Heat Series released by 704 Games. And those games weren't outright bad. They just weren't what they needed to be. And then we got Motorsport Games title NASCAR 21 Ignition. And I will make it clear, I don't like this game. NASCAR 21 Ignition was broken beyond belief on release to the point where it was borderline unplayable. If you ran Bristol Dirt and there was one spin, well, good news. You're going to get to see a dog pile of race cars because they just pile into each other and they don't reset. There was a glitch that I experienced a lot where you would be sitting on pit road before the start of the race, and if you played 21 Ignition, then you know what I'm explaining here. You're sitting in your car on pit road, and your crew chief, who kind of looks like Jeff Bezos for some reason, anyway, not the point, hands you a tablet which you can work on the telemetry, the wedge, the angle of the car, tire pressure, all that good stuff. And when he hands you the tablet, that tablet has the menu on it to start the race. And you would just be stuck there. He would never give you the tablet, and you'd just be stuck there. You'd have to quit the game and restart because he wouldn't hand you the tablet. They did eventually patch this out. And then Motorsport Games went belly up due to some bad politics behind the scenes, some very questionable decisions for a video game company to be making, which not only did that take away any hope of a NASCAR series, but it also took away the IndyCar game that was coming up. And the IndyCar game was something that was very much looked forward to by a lot of fans. And then, that left the NASCAR fans in kind of a weird state. People were asking, okay, well, who is going to make the next NASCAR game? Or are we even going to get a new game soon? And there were some names thrown around, namely Codemasters was getting thrown around as a possibility, which that wouldn't have been a bad option. Codemasters is now owned by EA, and they make the Formula One games. And the Formula One games, they're your typical sport game that releases every single year. Same roster, same cars, just slightly updated graphics, slightly updated tracks. But, overall, they're good. They're playable at release because they have the system down to where, okay, this is what we need to do this year. This is when we're going to release it. We've got to meet that deadline. Let's get it finished. And they finish it every year on time, and they release it on time. And then iRacing entered the chat. And it was brought to our attention that iRacing had now secured the exclusive NASCAR video game rights. And people started to talk. And they said, is this really the company that we want to make the next NASCAR game? And yes, it is, and I'll tell you why. iRacing is 100% the company you want making a NASCAR console game. Because with iRacing was founded by people that were left over from Papyrus. When Papyrus shut down as a company in 2001 or 2002, I believe, I think it was 2000, don't quote me on this. I see different things about Papyrus all the time because, but when they shut down, a lot of the people left over from Papyrus went over and started their own completely different company. And that company would become known as iRacing. And we all know how successful iRacing has gotten over the years. It is the go-to simulator that is used by not only people that are beginning to get into the sim racing scene, but by professional drivers as practice. Max Verstappen uses iRacing to train. Lewis Hamilton uses iRacing. Dale Jr. is on iRacing a lot. Matter of fact, going back to Max Verstappen, he uses the NASCAR trucks and screws around at Talladega just for funsies. Which I don't know why, I just think that's the funniest thing in the world. But point being, iRacing 100% is the people you want making this game. But here's the news. We finally get to the update. Today, iRacing announced that in addition to the NASCAR Cup Series being playable, the game will include the NASCAR Cup Series, the NASCAR Xfinity Series, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and the ARCA Menards Series. For the first time ever, a NASCAR game will feature not only the top 3 tiers of NASCAR, but will also feature the feeder series, the ARCA Menards Tour. To my knowledge, there's never been an ARCA video game, or ARCA's never even been in a video game. Not even Forza or Gran Turismo. But this isn't anything new for the NASCAR gaming series. Back in the days of EA Sports making the games, you had Cup, Xfinity, and Trucks. Back then it wasn't called Xfinity, it was called Nationwide and Busch Series. But in addition to those top 3 series, you had the Wheel and Modified Tour, which that was a lot of fun. Because the Wheel and Modifieds were a mostly short track series. And then you get to the new Heat series, and there was a fictional series called the Extreme Dirt Tour. And it was a lot of fun. But to finally have the ARCA Menards Tour in a NASCAR game, this is going to be so much fun to play. I can't wait to play it when it gets released. Now, there was a second update, and it gives us some details about the career mode. According to iRacing representatives, NASCAR25's career mode will be detailed and in-depth, and it will start you in your backyard garage as you race through the ARCA Menards Tour on your way to the NASCAR Cup Series. Which means that they're going to make you build your team, build your car, and fight your way to the top. That is what people want for a NASCAR career mode. It's going to be fun. I can't wait. When it does eventually release later this year, I will be doing playthroughs right here on the channel. NASCAR 25 gets released in fall of this year. So we don't know a release date yet. I'm pretty sure that they're waiting on the GTA 6 release date announcement because nobody wants to compete with Grand Theft Auto 6, and for good reason. So chances are, until GTA 6 gets the release date announced, we're not getting release date announcements for a lot of big games this year, if it's coming out in the fall. The only reason why we know when Assassin's Creed Shadows is coming out is because it's releasing in the spring, before GTA 6. So, be on the lookout for all of that later this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. I was quite surprised when I read it, I won't lie. But at the same time, it was definitely expected. Now, when it comes to iRacing, I do see a number of potential DLCs that they could do. because DLC content is everywhere in the video game space these days, and iRacing are people that could definitely pull it off. They have the means necessary to get different kinds of racing series into this game. I would love to see the Wheel and Modify Tour come back as a DLC. I would love to see the Cars Late Model Tour come back as a DLC. Because, frankly, the Cars Tour honestly should have its own video game. Really, it should. It's grassroots short track racing where a lot of the times there's a guest driver from the NASCAR Cup Series coming down to have some fun. It's where the Budweiser 8 came back home. So I could definitely see those being potential DLCs for NASCAR 25. Obviously, none of this is confirmed. None of it's even rumored. But it would be interesting to see. But yeah, that's going to be it for this one. NASCAR 25 is going to have the ARCA Menards Tour, as well as all three of NASCAR's top 3 national series, and an in-detail and in-depth career mode. It's going to be great. So with that said, that's going to do it for this one. So until next time, we will see you in Victory Lane.